Good afternoon, everyone. I am Otto Lana. I live in La Jolla, California, a beach community in San Diego. I use the pronouns he and him. I am a young Latin man with dreamy blue eyes, stylishly slicked back short brunette hair, and a smattering of sun-kissed freckles from my many hours at the beach. Thank you for allowing me to share my experience here at our Consortium meeting. It is hard to think about inclusion without thinking about the barriers to inclusion. That is what makes us think of strategies to be included. That fact that we are excluded in the first place. All of us have horror stories from being excluded. Our work group was tasked with defining diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, and each of these definitions were born out of experiences with barriers and opportunities or strategies to break down those barriers. I wanted to share my experience of transitioning from high school to college as an AAC user with significant and specific support needs. By the time I was a senior in high school, it had taken 15 years of advocating for access and support for communication tools in the academic setting. DEIA supported my requests for the specific communication supports and accommodations, as long as I framed it in a way that demonstrated the only way for me to access my curriculum was with these specific supports and accommodations in place, related to my communication needs. The wording of the requests had to be perfect. All my supports and my placement in an age-appropriate academic setting would be denied. I thought I had it all figured out. Then came college. I thought my old strategies would work, but there are no guarantees for college education. I was starting from square one. I knew what I needed to be successful at this point in my academic career, but I was the first AAC user on campus. The Disabled Student Support Office was thrilled to have me on campus. I have some notoriety in San Diego, but they had no idea what AAC or apraxia was. They didn't understand why I needed a note taker or support in general. If I type, using a text-based system to communicate, why couldn't I just type my class notes? The first class I enrolled in, I was denied the use of a note-taking app because the professor said he did not allow the use of AI in his classroom. I had no one in my circle of friends or family to seek advice on what to do. My two brothers' college experience was much different. They have oral fluency, so it was much easier to seek out accommodations for their dyslexia. Luckily for me, I was in a work group with the OGs of communication access and support. I reached out to the members of my work group to seek out advice, and there it was, AAC Peer Support in real time, organically grown out of opportunity and necessity. I volunteered to be part of this work group because these folks at CommunicationFIRST are my heroes. I had no idea I would learn so much and gain so much self-confidence from this experience. I shudder to think what would have happened to my dream of attending college had I not had access to these amazing people. All the old anxieties and fears of imposter syndrome bubbled up in that first college class. I am so grateful to the people in my work group that gave me advice and listened to my dilemma. No one dared to say, college isn't for everyone, like some of my friends said when they gave up on their dreams to go to college. This is a real-life example of the benefit of AAC peer support. I know that this is difficult to quantify in a statistical analysis, or a cost-benefit analysis, or even a return on investment analysis, but can't we all agree from a humanistic standpoint that one person not trashing their dreams is a significant success to be celebrated? The barriers to AAC peer support groups begin with the barriers to AAC use in general. The barriers I found were economic. The funding for support staff in high school dried up with graduation. I am still working on funding. The barrier of the physical environment. My classroom is probably from the 1960s. The tiny desks attached to the hard plastic chairs do not give me the space to set up a voice output device, a stand, a Bluetooth keyboard, and forget about a second laptop or notebook to take notes in class. The barrier of ignorance or lack of knowledge, or misunderstanding. Why do you need a note taker if you can type? The barrier of my own psyche. Can I really do this? With such limited resources, am I the best use of the support to go to college? Will someone else do more with a college degree than I will? These barriers are all real. They are the bricks that form the walls that keep us, as AAC users out. Again, it was a blessing I found myself here among these AAC warriors. Of course I deserve to be here. I had the opportunity to watch an AAC user defend his dissertation for his PhD. That is powerful stuff. AAC user peer support groups will define the next generation of leaders.